In 1978, me and two of my friends, we went on a camping journey that just changed my life forever. It was a trip that changed my beliefs on life, and even the afterlife. What should have been an ordinary trip camping in the woods turned into a nightmare that still haunts me today. It changed me fundamentally. I moved from being somebody that didn't believe in the paranormal to now somebody who believes the paranormal is very real and potentially very evil. When we first arrived at the campsite, it didn't feel right. I just felt as though instead of being this sort of, happy-go-lucky person, I was somebody that was just about to encounter something which was going to change me, which was going to obviously cost the life of my friend, but also sort of drive the other friend into madness. What I've heard about the woods subsequently is that it's a bit of a local legend. Apparently it's a place where, strange things have gone on for countless generations. Apparently the area is known to be, and I don't want to use the word, particularly in light of what happened with us, that the place essentially was haunted. But not just haunted, but haunted by a particular, I think force, they'd say it. I must admit, when I started to see the strange things, it kind of started to freak me out a bit. I'm not a normal person. I'm a skeptic when it comes to the paranormal. I've had no paranormal experiences. But that was the only time in my life where I genuinely started to think, there's something not right here. It was then that Matt actually brought out the equipment he brought along that he was intending to use to prove if the Screaming Woods was real or not. What he'd done, he'd purchased an EVP, which is an electronic voice sort of processor that they use sort of in ghost hunting. In fact, I've got it with me now.
This is the actual machine that he used to make the recordings. It was only afterwards, when they found the recorder a couple of weeks later, and I listened to the full recording, did I realise what awful things had really happened.
Without doubt, the most terrifying experience of my life. It was a horrible evening. I had this nightmare that my mouth was just full of fur, like rabbit fur, and literally fox fur, I think it was in the end. And I remember waking up with an absolute start, total sort of like in fear. Literally couldn't breathe. I go out of the tent, and Matt's tent flap is open, and I wake up Joel and I just say, where's Matt? I'd heard some, I'm sure in my dream I'd heard shouts. I'm sure I'd heard shouts, and those shouts must have been, they must have been Matt being taken away. I woke up after this nightmare, and then we saw what appeared to be blood. Then we started to see things. Literally, behind some of the trees were figures. And then the screaming started, and it was incredibly loud. At that point, I must admit, I lost it. I ran. I had the camera then, and I've actually got the footage of me just running. I don't know how I remember it, just running. I remember banging my head, falling over. I just remember. And then the next thing I know, then it's morning. And I'm apparently found by the side of the road. Most of my clothes had been torn and ripped. There was blood around my mouth. I never saw Matt again. Joel was the mental thing that did it for Joel. I know I encountered something that night. I know that I saw an evil that few people probably have ever seen, and hopefully you'll never see.